no, you can't be serious. This is how we do. My man Howie Roseman reading my mind once again. Eagles acquired cornerback Jakorian Bennett from the Raiders in exchange for DT Thomas Booker. Now listen, I'm pressed for time here. I have a dental appointment and I have to, get out of here pretty soon. So I'm going to try to do the best that I can under the given circumstances. So I may have to double back on that. But then again, man, the game is Thursday. We probably have to move on. But, you can glean from this what you will. Now, I've said it before. Y'all saw my Kelee Ringo video a couple of videos ago. I told you straight up, I'm not a big believer in Kelee Ringo's skill set as far as being a cornerback. I am a believer in his talents as far as him being naturally gifted as an athlete, a straight line athlete, a big straight line athlete. I said it plenty of times. If he was a safety, he would be nasty as shit. But playing a cornerback position in the NFL where you have guys who are so agile, who are able to transition in and out of routes, I believe that he can be worked consistently in the NFL. Now, you're not going to outrun this guy, but even when you don't outrun him or whatever like that, he still does not make a play on the ball. And this has been something that I have said about this guy since he was in high school. So I'm not one of these Johnny come lately. Remember, the University of Georgia is my background. I covered this guy since he was in high school. So I got mountains and mountains of film of me talking about this, right? But I don't want to beat a dead horse. I said I still want him to start because I don't like Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson's too finesse. He does not really fit what I think about when I think about Philadelphia Eagles football. Jakorian Bennett, a guy that I'm extremely familiar with, being as though I followed the University of Maryland extremely close. I remember they had that team 2022 when he was on opposite Deontay Banks at the corner. They had Tarheeb still in the slot. On the opposite, they had Rakim Jarrett and them dudes, Jacob Copeland and all that. This is incredible. Now, you're probably going to have Raiders fans come here because this is what people do, right? They see somebody leave their team and they'll shit on them or whatever like that. Listen, I don't give a fuck what you say. You can say that, right? Go to another channel. Go to one of these channels that they probably never even heard of Jakorian Bennett and they looked at PFF or some bullshit like that and then come to a determination. We don't do that here. Your boy right here, I speak on what I know, and I know Jakorian Bennett's skill set. This dude is every bit more talented than Kelee Ringo. You can't use the speed thing over Jakorian Bennett. He's just flat out faster, right? He's twitchy. He's twitchy like Adoree Jackson. He's faster, much faster than Adoree Jackson, and he's more physical than Adoree Jackson. Probably not as physical as Kelee Ringo could be, but he fits, to me, what an NFL corner is. Very much like a Quinyon Mitchell here. So they were able to exchange him just for Thomas Booker. Now, I don't think I've ever even talked about Thomas Booker on this channel, to be honest. All this film that I did, I don't think I've ever mentioned Thomas Booker before, right? He's lost in the sauce. That's a pretty good transaction for the Las Vegas Raiders, though, especially after the weird shit that went down with Christian Wilkins. We have to talk about that one day, right? Pause and no homo, with Christian Wilkins over there. But listen, man, fuck it. Let's just get into it right quick. I got to bounce. Yo, peep this rep right here against Courtland Sutton. Now, we'll see him not even use the best of technique on this route. Y'all know I hate speed turns. I'm putting that in quotation marks because I think it's a slow turn. I don't know why they call it a speed turn. This shit is retarded, right? A retarded turn, right? In the sense of it slows you down. It retards your ability to go fast in a transition. So we'll see Courtland Sutton right here. Off man coverage. Jakorian Bennett, you'll notice he's not one of these guys that has to get hands on man at the beginning of a route. Maybe he'll feel his way throughout the route, which could get him some PIs and all that. But at the beginning of the route, he's going to mirror you because he's just that agile. But look at this right here on this deep end right here. Look at that. Jacob, you saw that? All right, I'll let it play. For all you Karens out there, I'll let it play. Now we'll break it down right here. So you see him stationary, right? No foot injury, no kinetic motion on this one right here. Just mirroring, being patient. He opens up right on the inside. Well, you get inside leverage like that, you better be right, and you better be able to flip those hips. I would like to have seen him flip his hips around this way, right? But he does the little goofy turns on right here, but he got pushed off of, right? But he's so athletic, and he's so sudden and quick, he's able to stick that foot in the ground, take a proper angle all the way through Courtland Sutton, and you see right here on this dig, he's able to, bang, get his hands on that bad boy, turf that shit, and then look, man, Courtland Sutton fertilized himself. That was such good coverage right there. One more time, full speed. I mean, just think about my man Kelee Ringo in a situation like this, right? I think he would get turned around and wouldn't be able to recover on something like that. That's just two totally different skill sets as far as the twitchiness, the agility, right? Keep that in mind. That's all I'm talking about. Once again, out on an island going against George Pickens, who I think has a top 5 skill set in the league. I'm a huge George Pickens fan. I hated the fact that the Cowgirls traded for him, but we see right here, your boy Jakorian Bennett, look, no hands on man, patient, stay into it, get into his chest, turn and locate, got him. Made your boy get up for that downstroke. It was no bueno, but look at him, right? Look at the foot energy right here. Not panicking at all, right? Allow him to let you run the route with him, right? Say, be my guest right here at the top of this route right here. Be my guest, or the bottom of this route. Be my guest, and you can see him, right? Once again, taking that inside approach, using right now as a range finder, right? All he wants to do is find his range after he lets you declare what you want to do. He'll find his range, get into you, and then turn and locate. You can see them both tracking right about now, and he's able to actually jump up and try to make a play on the ball as well. The moment of truth scenario, what are you going to do? More times than not, I trust Jakorian Bennett to be there, especially if we're talking about downfield. Going against a guy perhaps with the very best skill set in the entire sport, Ja'Marr Chase. Now, this is tough. Ja'Marr Chase is very tough on these fade routes. I've seen him destroy people because you have to respect the fact that he could take it inside on you, and he's strong enough to just bully you like that. But then he can just get it over the top of you as well. On this one right here, patient, allow him to declare, and then look. Played the ball through the hands. Look, he's going against George Pickens, Cortland Sutton, Ja'Marr Chase. He's on film making plays against these guys. Think about that. So what I tell you, right, no hands on man. He's just allowing you to declare. He'll use eventually his arms as a range finder. On this one, you don't necessarily have to locate the ball. It's a quick hitting play. You need to locate the eyes. Make sure you play the hands when they go up, and that's exactly what he does right here. Take a poster of that right there. Take a picture, my man. Look at that. Absolutely outstanding work going against the very best in the business, at least the top 2, 3. Obviously, he's used to playing on the side that the great Quinyon Mitchell plays on. However, I said it before, I want to see Quinyon Mitchell just shadow the best receiver. Right? Outside of, you guys can pretend like outside receiver doesn't matter when you try to prop up inside the work that your boy Cooper DeJean's doing, which is great work. But there's a reason they were panicking to me about the outside, and they go and get a Jakorian Bennett, despite having 2 veterans, really, right? One man's in his 3rd year, although not that experienced. He is in his 3rd year in the NFL, and Adoree Jackson, I mean, is a legit veteran. And they still go out and get a guy like this. Now, listen, this is Vic Fangio. We don't know what could happen. Maybe he's coming in and to compete at the nickel spot or something like that. I would doubt it. But my guess is he would be coming in to compete on the outside, and I would just go ahead and cut Adoree Jackson. It would be between Jakorian Bennett and Kelee Ringo. Look at this right here going against Quentin Johnson. Patient again, no hands on man. What I tell you, found the range right there, bang, played it through the hands, didn't panic. At the moment of truth scenario, are you going to panic? Are you going to look that man in his eyes and right like Medusa and get stoned out this mall? Right? Nope. Look at this right here. Falls off the cliff. You can see it right here. He falls off the cliff, allowing him a free release. He knows he can run with anybody. He knows he just needs to find his range when they're when he's in phase, find his range to get in phase. And then, of course, whether he turns to locate or he wants to play through the hands, you know what I mean? He's good for it, right? We already know what he's hitting for right there. And, of course, he's going to do his thing, man. This time going against Nelson Aguilar, and we know how he gets down, being thrown to by your man Lamar Action Jackson, the very best in the business, right? This is a tough assignment here on a fade. And check this out. On Aguilar, my man falls off the cliff again, watch, rinse, and repeat. I'm telling you, right? When you can mirror your own technique, meaning you make every time you do something look exactly the same, then you're putting in work in the lab. Straight up, right here. Falls off the cliff again, no hands on man. Turns, opens up, knows he can run with Nelson Aguilar. And then look, this time he starts to track early. When Aguilar starts to track, he starts to track the entire way. And look how much he's in his hip pocket, right? Like a groupie. Like all up in that man hip pocket, right? All up in his pocket like a groupie. And you can see what he does right here. At the moment of truth, once again, he comes through. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like that man's perfect or anything like that, right? Not by any stretch of the imagination. I just want to show you a skill set and what he can do. I still believe it will be a battle with Kelee Ringo, right? Because Kelee Ringo has some talent in his own right as well. I just believe Jakorian Bennett is a better cornerback. That's it. He's just better cornerback skills. Kelee Ringo, though, has a leg up with the fact that he's already on the team and he's already been in Fangio's system. So he knows what to expect and he knows what's expected of him. Difficulty level on a lot of those plays, man, 10 out of 10. Jamar Chase going against guys like him. Jerry Jeudy here on quick routes. One of the most elusive route runners that you will ever see. Jerry Judy's definitely got that, you know what I'm saying, getting jiggy with it, jingle-footed, saucy type joint that they do up in Florida. And you can see him right here, man. He's not afraid. He's not afraid. Spacing good there. Look at him. Patient. Breaking that bad boy up. Now, this is what I really fear for Kelee Ringo. I feel he can be competitive with the ball down the field because he's a big guy who's fast. But with twitchy wide receivers like this, I feel like more times than not, man, he's going to get got. Nah, I mean, that's just it. That's my fear for him, right? And my fear is they will continue to target that. But with Jakorian Bennett, yeah, good luck, right? Look at the patience there. He doesn't move a muscle, right? Yeah, he did reset at the beginning, right? You see him come back right there, get a little bit more spacing for somebody like Jeudy. But then we see right here, patient. Judy's doing his thing, hitting with the crossover. Crossover did not work. You know what I mean? You're not. He got that number 3, but you're not AI, baby. You're not Allen Iverson, baby. So what are we doing here? So, bang, broke that bad boy up with the outside hand. Absolutely nasty. Wash, rinse, and repeat going against Deontay Johnson. Same deal right here. Oh, Deontay Johnson tried to speed play him, right? Whereas Jerry Jeudy was a little patient with it. He came right at it. Look at that. Boom. Stuck that foot in the ground. And look at him have to kind of recover a little bit right here. But obviously you're within the allotted spacing area where you can be a little bit more handsy right here. But he takes the hands off and then plucks that bad boy with the inside this time. With the inside arm. One more time, full speed. Patient enough, quick enough. It's just that 0 to 60 ability they have, right? Obviously, know the 60 to 100, he's super fast, right? I think he ran a 4.3 flat. So he's blazing fast. But you can be blazing fast and not be that quick. Kelee Ringo, I feel, is that he's super fast, but he's not that quick. This guy is quick, agile, and he has that blazing top-end speed as well. This is an excellent pickup. I don't even understand I can understand if you have a need at a certain position, maybe you feel strongly at the cornerback position. With my man Pete Carroll out there with Las Vegas, I trust him, and especially with DB evaluations, right? So maybe Jakorian Bennett is not his style of DB. Usually his style of DB is a guy like Kelee Ringo. They could have actually traded those guys for each other if the Raiders didn't need defensive tackle help. And I feel like Pete Carroll would do wonders with a guy like Kelee Ringo in his skill set. Think about guys like Richard Sherman and some of the guys that he had beyond that, right? The bigger cornerbacks. He does really well with those guys, right? Tariq Woolen with the Seattle Seahawks. Same kind of deal right there. So Jakorian Bennett just may not be his twist, but he's definitely our twist here on the Eagles. He reminds me very much of my man Isaiah. I was extremely mad, right, when they let go or let Isaiah Rodgers go in free agency, and then you come back with a guy much younger, or not much younger, younger than Isaiah Rodgers, just going into his 3rd year as well. Same draft as Kelee Ringo, come to think of it. And here we are. So listen, everybody stand up on this one, baby. I cannot wait to see how this one plays out. I'm rooting for Kelee Ringo, man, to get it all together, put it all together, man. Seems like a very nice kid, right? He has a strong fan base, I'll tell you that. I've been going against Ringo sexuals for 5 years now, right? And it's very tiring. Same old shit. Oh, Cletus, he's young. He's young. He's been young for 5 years, right? You can tell when people have never, ever played football before. They say dumb shit and they repeat what other people say. Who gives a shit about his age? It's about his experience level. The man played a ton of football at the highest level of Georgia, meaning these guys played into the playoffs, winning championships. He was playing 2-3 extra games a year. So a 2-year starter with that amount of experience in college, and then he's in his 3rd season in the NFL. He had guys pass him that were younger, like Cooper DeJean. He had a guy with less experience and Quinyon Mitchell come in and instantly be one of the top 5 corners in the league, in my opinion. So stop using that bullshit age as an excuse, man. Talk about football. Stop making goofy excuses, all right? But we don't make that shit here, right? We get it and we get it in, right? So much love to all my villains out there, man. Much love to everybody. All my real Eagles fans, right? Not these Johnny come lately bandwagon Georgia fan type cats, right? I hate them dudes. I can't even front, right? This team is not one of them teams you bandwagon, right? This is a tough ass city first and foremost. But man, this is a team that had some really tough times when I was a little kid. You know what I mean? And to see it now at the forefront, you got 50 million people trying to cover the Eagles, you know what I'm saying, and all kinds of shit, everybody bandwagoning and shit like that. This is a great time to be alive if you're an Eagles fan. This is like the apex of the apex, right? This is a team that is super young and will be able to compete for a long time. And they keep adding in shit like this. Howie Roseman's doing his thing. Everything is in lockstep. I even got to give Nick Sirianni credit. Y'all know I don't want to do that because, you know what I'm saying, the entire outfit is just dope as fuck, man. No doubt about that. All right. So much love to everybody out there, man. Your boy got to bounce. Much love to everybody out in the Delaware Valley. Same deal. You already know, baby. North Philly, we in the building, baby. Brewery Town, Strawberry Mansion, Port Richmond, Poplar, Ludlow. Of course, you know how we do it. Old Richmond, East Kensington, Big Kensington, or you know what I mean? Traditional Kensington. Shout outs to West Philly, of course. Shout outs to far Northeast Philly, Northeast Philly, South Philly. Shout outs to everybody. Man, everybody uptown, you know what I mean? Mount Airy and all them bulls. You know how we do it, right? Salute. Center City, salute. South Jersey, what up?
What more can I say?
Top Billin.